So ever since Ultimate Invasion, Marvel has been diving headfirst into this new Ultimate Universe that they've created, starting with Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man, followed by Ultimate Black Panther and Ultimate X-Men. And, you know, the big question mark for me right now is, does this have the potential to be better than the Ultimate Universe before? You know, obviously, the first universe was very controversial for a lot of reasons. Lack of a consistent direction, needless edginess, needless character deaths, a lot of just back and forth, you know what I mean? Trying to commit to some big idea and then backpedaling it for no reason and then revamping and just kind of tried to keep it going for no real reason. You know, very early on they had some bangers like the Ultimates and Ultimates 2, obviously Ultimate Spider-Man, but then the longer it went on, the more we had like just some super weird stuff. Ultimate X-Men, I've been scared to even touch because of all that I've heard. You know, there was a lot in Ultimate Spider-Man that many people weren't a fan of, a lot of changes that just seemed pretty needless, you know, had no narrative purpose other than to be different, you know, and something like Ultimatum was a monster of a story in and of itself, and later they just kept churning out some of the weirdest things, like some of the most unnecessary stories. But now we're looking at a brand new thing, brand new circumstances, and it kind of feels like the whole thing has been done right this time, at least so far. I know it's very, very early to say anything, you know, super conclusive. At the time of recording this, we have like 1 issue of Ultimate X-Men, 2 of Black Panther, and 3 of Ultimate Spider-Man, but still, I think there's enough out so far to make some early judgments. So first I want to start with Ultimate Spider-Man, you know, the big one, the one that just knocked everyone's socks off from the beginning to where it was sold out immediately, I think first day, which was amazing. You know, obviously something that we've been wanting for forever. Peter Parker, MJ, family, mature Spider-Man. It was inevitable that this thing was going to sell out like that because it was a direct answer to what people had been looking for years, and to have a writer like Jonathan Hickman on the book was just fantastic. It was a perfect fit, and it was also really refreshing to have him work on such good character moments, you know, such a good character driven story as opposed to his usual grandiose narrative. So it was just a nice change of pace, and I don't want to ramble too much about this one because, you know, I did the 2 videos on the first 2 issues before, so if you haven't already, go check those out. But I haven't done an issue 3 video, and I probably won't, so I'll just cover it here. Jonathan Hickman just cannot stop, just continuing the trend of like cutting out all the fluff, taking very standard ideas like Harry Osborn becoming Green Goblin, and you know how the whole situation with the Daily Bugle is, taking different parts of the Spider-Man universe, moving them in directions that no one is expecting, and making people love that immediately. You know, he just has an amazing ability to move the characters and the story forward in such an unexpected way. I think the best way to describe it is he gives people moments that they never asked for and makes us love it, basically. I think this one is a real contender. You know, the original Ultimate Spider-Man run is and will forever be iconic. However, when you have such a sophisticated writer like Hickman, who has such a unique and refreshing approach to any and all characters that he's writing, my god, is that cool. I'm like so excited. It's so cool. Like, we have 3 issues and I'm still excited. This could very, very easily beat the original Ultimate Spider-Man, be better than it, which is no small thing. So when it comes to the Ultimate Spider-Man corner of things in the Ultimate Universe, I think that is a definite maybe. Then on to Black Panther. Black Panther had like no presence in the original Ultimate Universe, I don't think. Like, he was in Ultimates 3, I think, which I did not read because that looked like garbage. And then he was in like Ultimate Avengers or something and basically had no presence in that either. So it's like, what was the point, right? His character basically didn't exist. So they're already knocking it out of the park with this. I love the political drama of this. You know, this is a very political book, but not in the sense of like, you know, modern day politics or anything like that. It's not modern day at all. The setting is basically when Wakanda is still hidden from the world. So we've kind of gone back, which is really cool, really refreshing. It's more so political in the way that we can see how war is basically used as a weapon, as a tool for agendas. You know, there's a lot of treachery, there's a lot of spies, moves and counter moves in a very Game of Thrones way where they just kind of throw you into it and just tell you you can't trust anybody. And that's really, really crazy. You know, you get introduced to like 10 characters right off the bat and get told like, we all want different things. We all have different priorities. We all have different agendas. A lot of people that don't want war, a lot of people that do, a lot of people that are prophesizing something bad coming. There's just all of this stuff being filled up into T'Challa's head. All this information being thrown at him. Everyone kind of whispering something into his ear. And then he's thrown into the middle of a war and he has to command ship as king and navigate through it. Whoever the bad guy is, he has to figure it out and then try not to give them exactly what they want. It's all a lot of manipulation, and it's so exciting. It's so cool. There are so many moving parts to this. Exactly like Ultimate Spider-Man, it's laid out in such a unique, refreshing way that may never have been seen in a Black Panther comic before, but most importantly, certainly hasn't been seen in an Ultimate Black Panther comic before, because there hasn't been one. So this is a definite yes, definitely better than the Black Panther that came before in the Ultimate Universe. This is such an improvement. I'm so excited to see what comes of this. They've done a great job with it so far, which then finally brings us to the Ultimate X-Men book, which is so bizarre. I don't even know how to approach this one. It's so unique, and that's really the best short description of it that I can give. It is I literally don't know how to talk about this book because there's so like nothing there yet, but it's also a lot. I think what we're all trying to figure out right now is what the hell does this have to do with the X-Men? Obvious that she's a mutant, right? This is her whole thing. How does it work? How does it relate to anything? Is the X-Men kind of just gonna completely be a different thing in this universe? It feels like when you're watching the first episode of an anime and you're just trying to figure out what the rules are and how they're gonna break them. And I don't even watch anime like that. I've watched a couple, right? Erased, Death Note, Attack on Titan, but it does have that specific feeling of when you watch the first episode and you're pulled in by all the mystery and all the intrigue, and it's really, really cool. Like, you have no idea what the grand scheme of this book is. You have no idea what the general direction of it is. You have no idea where they're eventually going to go with it. It's really one of those things where you can only look at what's in front of you now, and what's in front of us is so cool, so unique. The art style is beautiful. The setting is completely different from anything we've seen from an X-Men book before. This protagonist is great. The dilemma that she's in is really, really interesting. Her whole situation, it's so cool. It's so mysterious, so ominous, so creepy. There is a very clear vibe and direction for it. Just like the other two, I'm very excited to see where they plan on taking it. For right now, it's kind of impossible to say whether or not it's going to be better than the X-Men books that came before in the Ultimate Universe, because it literally could not be more different, I don't think. It's so random, but I do love it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep reading it, and it's just really good. So this one is a big fat question mark. Black Panther is a definite yes, and Ultimate Spider-Man is a definite maybe. One thing I do want to say about all of these combined is that it is so easy to binge these right now, just to read both issues of Black Panther, the first issue of that, and issue 3 of Spider-Man. It probably took me, I would say 15-20 minutes, like absolutely tops. You know, less is more, so maybe that's a thing. Maybe over time things will get more concerning. Maybe Marvel will butcher it. Let's hope not, though. All of these books right now are amazing. If you're someone that hasn't read one of these, trust me, any of your doubts, throw them out the window like I did. Try it. If you don't like it, fine, but I promise you, you're probably not gonna hate it. Get on board now before they have like 50 issues or whatever. And then we have the Ultimates, or the Ultimate Avengers. I don't know which one it is. I think that one's coming out in June, or it's gonna start up in June. That one is what I'm really excited for. We don't know much about that one yet. All I know is that I'm excited, I'm hyped, and I hope they don't make the same character mistakes that they did before. You know, with this new universe, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new day for these characters. Well, it's kind of the opposite of brand new day for Spider-Man, but you know what I mean. You know, one thing that I do feel like is being valued heavily as this new universe is starting up and all the books are coming out is creativity, being able to take these characters in such different new directions. It really feels like that's a priority here, and I love that, and I'm grateful for that, because it feels like it's been a long time since we've had something truly unique. You know, the fact that this X-Men book was able to even be pitched, much less picked up and like guaranteed and greenlit, is crazy. You know, I feel like we haven't had something that unique. Overall, I feel like this has been very consistent, and I feel like if they stay this consistent, if they don't let it go off the rails, if they keep a tight, you know, control over the direction of the universe, if they have a plan that they stick to, this could very easily pass the universe that came before. If you fix the mistakes that the other one made, if you don't break it in the same way they did, have some care, have some patience, have some intelligence about how you go about it, it's gonna be great. I'm really excited. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How excited are you? As excited as me? Because I feel like I'm alone in my little, you know, corner over here. There's a lot of hype over Spider-Man, but like, I'm not hearing a whole lot else. These are awesome. These are so cool. I'm so excited for it. But yeah, that's all I got. That's the video. Thank you for watching.